Hello friends, James Stevenson back with another episode of Who's Hating Hard on Tesla Today? Today's featured hater once again is Brad Munchen. We'll get to that in a minute, but the first thing we need to do is feed Loki his breakfast. One of the reasons to do that is because I know it's going to irritate Brad Munchen when he watches this video. Let's grab Loki his breakfast. Loki, there you go, buddy. Yes, I got your breakfast here. Let's take out some kibbles. There's one. There's one. There you go, buddy. Yes. Alright, we'll see if he'll eat or not. He'll either eat now or he'll eat later. Either way, you've got Loki in the Loki spot cam. You can keep an eye on the Loki cam as I share my desktop just right here below me. So, what's today's episode about? Well, it's some fan feedback. I'm going to call Brad Munchen a fan of mine because he follows me on Twitter and he watches the videos that I post to YouTube and on Twitter. And let's see how he retweeted me. So I did a video about Tesla's research and development expenses actually doubling over the past couple of years. Which is in stark contrast to the claim Brad Munchen made that Tesla is spending less and less all the time on research and development. That's only true if you compare it to revenue. So what's he doing now? He's made us a chart. What's the caption? Morons still forget that Tesla is now X-growth. So the growth story is over, according to Brad Munchen. There is no more earnings growth in Tesla's future. The highest earnings they've ever reported are in the past, and they'll never go any higher. Yet trades at 80x 2023 EPS. So let's see, 80x 2023 EPS on a $200 stock price. So he thinks Tesla's going to make $2.50 worth of positive earnings, or thereabouts, somewhere in the $2 to $3 range. And then he's got at McDonald's here tagged because he thinks that's where I'm going to be working, I guess. He's made that claim before. So what's this chart do? Well, let's take a look at it. It's Tesla net profit growth % year over year. What's the highest bar on the page? This one from Q1 of 2021. Why was it 2,638% growth? Year over year in Q1 of 2021? Because Tesla's net profit, this is GAAP earnings we're talking about here. He didn't label it that way, but the numbers are GAAP earnings. The prior year, Q1 of 2020, were $16 million. Or as successful large cap companies say, $0.016 billion worth of GAAP income. So it's easy to get 2,638% growth over a $16 million prior year comp. And that's what happened here. So the rest of these bars aren't comparing against Q1 of 2020. They're comparing against whatever quarter came 4 quarters prior. So 1,000% growth, still pretty good. 400% growth, 800% growth, 600% growth. By the way, Brad Munchen predicted that Tesla would make a loss in every single one of these quarters, and Tesla didn't report a loss in any of these quarters. They were all profitable. And the negative number over here is what he wants to draw your attention to relative to the earnings that Tesla reported the prior year, Q1 of 2022. Okay, why is this deceptive? We'll get to that in a minute. The first point I needed to make in my reply was there's no apostrophe in the word morons. It is a plural noun. So a lot of elementary school children can explain to Brad Munchen that if you're going to call people morons, you shouldn't put an apostrophe in that because you're just using a plural noun. And hashtag Tesla trades at a negative PE to the 2023 earnings target you told George Noble you believed earlier this year. Now, this is a long clip. I'm not going to play you the entire thing because the last part of it is Mark B. Spiegel, longtime Tesla hater, longtime Tesla short seller, who was also a featured guest on George Noble's No Bull podcast. Very appropriately named podcast. He doesn't invite bulls onto his show. Only perma-bears like him get invited to be on the George Noble podcast. Let's take a listen to how Brad Munchen described his expectations for what Tesla's earnings would be this year, 2023.
It wasn't from the analyst.
But if I said to you min-max probable, Motorhead, on your range, what could you reasonably see min-max probable for earnings in 2023 for Tesla? What would you say?
What do you mean by mid-max? Sorry.
Well, you make your sort of best guess is $1.70, whatever the number is. Okay, how on a bad day, how bad could you see it going? Assuming $1.70 is the wrong number, let's say it's a lot worse than you expected, a lot better than you expected. What could you see in terms of the extremes, both better than expected and worse than expected, relative to your expectations?
I think they could generate a full-blown net loss in 2023. I mean, when these big automakers, see a collapse in prices and stuff like that, I mean, you blow a hole in your balance sheet, and that's perfectly possible this year.
And what do you see for potential upside, Motorhead? Let's say you're being too stingy.
Well, I don't know if you guys listened to the detail that the CFO gave, but he actually they had a question which I'm sure they read beforehand. It was from Say, it wasn't from the analysts, and he put out this number. It's very interesting. So they assume 1.8 billion in deliveries, and they're saying that the prices will be over 47,000. And they said that, the gross profit margin, excluding lease and ZEV credits, would be over 20%. That gives you a 39% increase in pure automotive gross profits year on year. So I don't know what they're smoking over there, but they're absolutely insane.
All right. Tesla is absolutely insane to believe that their profits in 2023 are going to be 40% higher than they were in the prior year. Well, let's go take a look. Oh, here's the meme that Ocelot made for Brad Munchen. Let's make this big on the screen. Here's a screenshot of me asking Drew Dixon. The financing division counts as part of the company's financials, right? The screenshot is being shown here out of that context because it was Drew Dixon and not I who was putting forward the claim that the financing division doesn't count as part of the company's financials, and I was trying to nail his feet down on that claim by asking the question in a way that he wouldn't be able to escape it. Pretty funny meme there. If you know the story behind it, feel free to Google or search Twitter for this tweet from me, which is still up. Why would I delete it? I was right, and Drew Dixon, a friend of Brad and Ocelot's, longtime Tesla hater and short seller, Drew Dixon, was trying to convince me that financing divisions don't count as part of the SEC filings that companies report. So I had to follow this up with one more illustration, which I made in meme format and in chart format. Yo dog, we heard you like comparing things to 2020 Q1. So here's everything compared to 2020 Q1, and then the chart that accompanies it. So this is that 2,638% increase year over year, Q1 of 2021 versus Q1 2020. Well, why compare only that quarter against the $16 million profit Tesla reported in Q1 of 2020? Why not compare every quarter's earnings against that same number? If you do, you get this chart with 6,900% growth. I promise I didn't make this up for meme purposes. It does come out to 69. If you take Q2 2021 as a percentage of Q1 2020 and just lock in that comparison time period. Then in Q3 of 2021, Tesla made 98x, the $16 million from Q1 of 2020. Then 141x, 202x, 137x, 200x, 225x, and 153x If you're looking for the negative number that Brad had on his chart, down 26%, it's if you compare this number, Q1 of 2023, against this number, Q1 of 2022. That's how you get a negative 26% by picking out the least favorable comparison you can find on this long-term trend. From an unusually high quarter here to an unusually low quarter over here. And that's my video for today, so we'll check back in with Loki, who has decided not to eat his breakfast yet. And with that, I will outro and say if you've enjoyed today's video of Who's Hating Hard on Tesla today, don't forget to click the like button. You can also subscribe to my channel over here if you're watching this on YouTube. That's free to do. But thank you to everyone who supports my efforts, be that through Patreon or Twitter or right here on YouTube, as my executive producers, Kathy Kitchler and Rebellionaire.com did at the highest support tier, earning them a shout out and a thank you at the end of every video. And I'll see you in the next one.